And let me share my screen and we're good to go. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're good.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Joanna Weiser. We may have met before. I'm here today to talk to you about a topic that is maybe nearer and dearer to my heart than the previous one that I taught in this series. This is topic 8. And if you've been through all 8 with us, we've started at the basics, we've started at the foundation, and we've been building upon that with each topic. And I think our last few have been maybe the most complex because stress, emotions, tension, health and hormones, pain, these are really complex issues. And the reason this is near and dear to my heart is this is where things began for me. And I'm very, very grateful that I had the courage 5.5 years ago to share with an acquaintance, a new friend, that I was struggling. And I was struggling with chronic pain that I couldn't really define. It felt physical to me, even though it was very much intertwined with emotions and poor gut health. And we're going to talk about all of that today. But I just want to tell you where things began for me. And I had what I would call moderate chronic pain. If I had to rate myself, I would say on any given day, I was anywhere from maybe a 4 to an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 for pain. And what I had chosen to do to manage that pain was pharmaceuticals, over the counter, Tylenol and ibuprofen. I was taking arthritis strength daily, one, the other, or both, which is terrible for your stomach lining. I was just asking for ulcers. I'm surprised that I didn't wind up with ulcers. And by no means am I a heavy drinker, but I probably had a drink or two every night, along with my Tylenol and ibuprofen. And this was my Band-Aid approach. And I didn't really know any differently. I grew up in in our modern medical kind of mindset that you could just throw pills and Band-Aids at any problem and that was a solution. And I really didn't understand that is not in any way, shape, or form a solution. It's a really temporary quick fix. If you have an owie kind of pain, maybe that would be sufficient. But when it comes to chronic, anything long-term, long-standing, that's just to get you through the day. And it's really no way to live. So when I met Josie, and she said to me, well, how's that working for you? And I was sort of stymied by the question. And she asked me, have you ever considered that there's another way, that there are natural solutions? And I'm not sure if I laughed out loud, but I kind of poo-pooed it and thought, oh, you have no idea. You don't know what I'm feeling. And I think a lot of us think that. And even though I might not know your pain and you might not know my pain, I think most of us understand pain on some level. And that's what wellness advocates do, is we kind of walk beside you in your journey. And she offered me a solution. I didn't want to take it, but her solution that day was Deep Blue essential oil. That's our soothing blend for, muscle soreness, joint pain. And I took a sniff. It smelled amazing. I took it home reluctantly. I followed her instructions, which were to mix with some coconut oil, rub it on my issues. And well, you know what? It was as good in terms of effectiveness as the acetaminophen and as the ibuprofen that I was taking. And it just opened the door a crack to the possibilities. And I'm so grateful that I said yes to doTERRA, because I can't even imagine 5.5 years later where I'd be or what I'd be doing to manage that pain, because it would still be there. And now I'm not telling you I'm pain-free, but we're going to talk about, where you rate yourself on the pain chart. And I think it's important to note that even though you may not eliminate your issues, if you can even lessen the severity, that's something. And that is my situation. Some days I hurt, some days I don't hurt. But before doTERRA, there was never a day without hurting. So let's go to our first slide and rate ourselves. So if you wouldn't mind, take a moment to consider on a scale of 1 to 10 for chronic pain. I think I need to look at my own slides here. So if I look away, it's only because I'm looking down at my laptop. Chronic pain. So is this a daily part of your life? Rate yourself from 1 to 10. Consider to emotional pain, what that feels like. 10 being, yeah, the heaviness is real. Maybe I'm not getting out of bed today. Or is it a 1? And maybe it's a 0. And if it is, that's so fantastic for you. I have 0 days, but not every day. Or occasional pain. So maybe you have a headache. Maybe stress is getting you down today. Maybe you burned yourself like I did this morning on my kettle. That's acute pain. That is not chronic pain. That is already gone thanks to my peppermint oil. But where do things sit for you? And I think we're really going to focus today on chronic pain because that's the kind of thing that, it doesn't respond to a Band-Aid, quick fix solution. The most important thing to understand about chronic pain is that it almost never has a single cause, just that like you would have with a cut or a bruise. And it can be multifactorial. Your pain could be emotional and physical. And for someone like me, even after injuries heal, because I'm so sensitized to pain, sometimes habit makes me feel the same aches and pains, or what might just be I'm kind of stiff today, might hurt a little bit more for me or take a little bit longer to fall away. And that's something that I think we need to acknowledge. And before we just write everything off as, well, it's all in your head, think about, much like plants, how in tune our body systems are. This is the complexity. And this is what we've been talking about for 8 classes, right? How interconnected your head, your heart, and your gut are. That if you have an ouch in your elbow, it could very much be referring from something along your spine, which could be a function of really poor gut health. Right. So I think we probably need to start at the basis. Maybe we'll move to the next slide. I have a list of 12 different body parts and what sort of emotionally speaking that could correspond to. I'm not going to go through all 12, but just consider for a second, what body systems for you need the most support? Like, where are you feeling your pain? Is it head tension? Are you carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? Maybe your low back hurts or your knees. I'm just going to tell you a couple of them. I know for me, actually, this is another story and it's a quick one, I promise. For years, I had low back pain, left side. It was there every single day, partly postural. I tend to be a little bit crooked, but partly because of really poor digestive health. And so a lot of my pain was coming from probably some longstanding nutritional deficiencies and chronic constipation. And guess what? All that Tylenol and Motrin, all of these things were wreaking havoc on my gut, probably causing that constipation. Dehydration as well, a factor. Well, someone suggested at a doTERRA event that a lot of the physical pain could be emotions that are stuck inside of you. Where are you feeling stuck? And if you believe in, Chinese medicine, qi, the flow of energy, when things get stuck, there is a blockage there, and that energy break is where you feel the physical pain, but it could be rooted in something else. So that day, I decided to forgive some old grievances, forgive myself, forgive people in my childhood that had made me feel badly about myself, and all that pain fell away. The blockage cleared, and I literally was not constipated, at least for a short period of time. And although I've addressed things nutritionally since and made great progress there, I just want to highlight that for you. So if you would, take a moment to think about where your pain resides. I'm only going to tell you maybe 3 of them off this list, because 12 of them, I think we'd be here all day. But okay, if you feel a lot of upper back shoulder pain for example, shoulders, you may be overburdened and should think about maybe asking others to help shoulder the load. Maybe you're trying to carry too much responsibility. Upper back sometimes could be the result of feelings of lack of emotional support, feeling unloved, or holding your own love back. Really interesting stuff. This is not me preaching, by the way. I just found this really profound personally. Hips. Okay, this is my favorite one because this is what I came to doTERRA with, which was hip pain. This is the fear of moving forward. Hello. Totally my issue and something I struggle with every day. So fascinating stuff. I'm going to leave the rest of the questions later if anybody wants to hear about any more of them. We'll go to that. Let's move along to the next slide though. Fascinating stuff. Okay, so I think you went to. Can we go back to the? Oh, I'm sorry. So wellness period, a pyramid. Okay. So we talk about this in every single class, and we talk about our foundational support. I've already touched on gut health and nutrition, and we've talked extensively about supplements, but I do want to highlight just for a moment all of the goodness in our lifelong vitality supplement trio. And anytime somebody comes to me talking about chronic pain issues, yes, essential oils are fantastic and they will help you manage your pain, but you have to start at the foundation. So although I will never force anybody to take lifelong vitality supplements, that's always my first recommendation because it made the most profound difference for me in my pain. And many of the people that I've worked with and the colleagues around me will give you the same stories, just with different details. Okay, so in them is your vitamins, nutrients, whole foods in a non-chelated form. We have our cellular energy, so at the mitochondrial level in our alpha CRS, but that specifically also addresses a healthy inflammatory response. And inflammation is the root of a lot of people's pain, okay? And then also, this was a big change for me, taking daily omega supplementation, so your 3, 6s, 9s, essential fatty acids, better hydration, and then digestive enzymes to help break it all down, probiotics to heal the gut. All of these together worked synergistically with my essential oils to make the most profound change in the shortest period of time. So we've talked about the fact that there's a money back guarantee. 30 days, you can take the entire box of these supplements. And the reason for that is because we're pretty sure that within 30 days, you will be able to bring the number down at least a notch or two in terms of pain, inflammation, and other struggles that you may have. Okay, and I feel strongly enough that I can make such a bold statement. I've never known anybody to send their box back. Actually, that's not true. One person who misunderstood all the instructions I gave her, which was to go slowly. She sent hers back. But everybody else has been able to assimilate over time onto this trail and find some benefit. And that's progress, right? Okay, so now we can move on to the next slide. I've said my lifelong vitality speech. And okay, let's focus on this for a moment. I'll give you a second to read the slide while I catch up on mine. But here are some of the benefits. So chronic pain, a healthy response to oxidative stress, supporting bone health with calcium, magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D, also vitamin C, great for your antioxidant benefits, but also supporting bone health, healthy joint function and comfort. Okay, emotional pain. Need we say more? You need those fatty acids. Your brain matter is composed primarily of fatty acids. And so when you starve it, that's when things start to break down. Okay, so protecting against lipid oxidation and supports healthy function of the brain, eyes, and nervous system. Okay, and then for occasional pain, provides powerful foundational support of vitamins and minerals to help keep your body performing at peak performance. And then optimal nutrition. Now, we know you cannot out oil and out supplement a crummy diet. So I can't speak highly enough for eating a whole foods based diet, or at least moving in that general direction and hydrating well. what you will get from lifelong vitality is about 50% of your recommended daily nutritional intake needs. And the fact that it's such a complete system, I don't know anybody who can boast that they're getting 100% of their recommended dietary intake of every single vitamin, mineral, micronutrient, macronutrient. So lifelong vitality, whether it's gilding the lily or it's saving your life, is vital. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. This one is detailed. So I'm going to work directly from the slide, but let's just talk about prescription pain medication or even over the counter. I think this is a factor as well. But when you over medicate or cocktail medications that have no business being together, you may feel a little bit better, but guaranteed you're not 100% with it focused and in control. And prescription medication causes more death than car accidents. And on this slide, it says more than 37,000. I assume that's a US stat. They're considered safe, especially by teens. Well, that's fascinating because they're prescription, so versus illicit. But that's a slippery slope. We have a fentanyl, an opioid crisis going on worldwide, and yet those are prescription drugs. Just going to let that sit there. Okay, so I did not make this slide. Forgive all of the grammatical and spelling errors in it. That should say withdrawal symptoms not being pleasant. So whether you're pulling off of a prescription medication or you just stopping like I did, overusing over-the-counter medications, yeah, you might find insomnia, leg spasms, vomiting, diarrhea. Can I add constipation to that? Overprescription of medication is rampant. And I'm not telling you need to get off of it. Some people will never be able to live fully free of medications. But if you can replace some of your prescription medications with some natural solutions, you do your body and your mind and your outlook a world of good. Digestive shutdown, I've alluded to this already. This was definitely a factor for me. I can tell you honestly, my mother who suffers from Parkinson's and is on a laundry list of medications, it's a hallmark of the illness, but even more so a side effect of the medications. And she takes medications to mitigate the side effects from the other medications. And it's tragic. And she can't live without those medications, but could embrace oils, supplements, and a wellness lifestyle and potentially mitigate some of those issues she has. So some tips for weaning off pain medication, if that's something you're motivated to do, definitely work with your physician and as well as your wellness advocate. Increase your water intake. Even if you don't suffer from pain, increase your water intake. It says here 4 liters of water. I know that seems like a lot. Start slowly. You may find if you are honest with yourself and you're keeping a log or a journal of how much you're drinking during the day, you might be surprised. It might only be 3 or 4 glasses of water a day, which is only 1 liter. And so if you can gradually increase to 2 and 3 and 4, I think you will notice that your perception of pain will change. It may lessen. I know that I quite often, if I've had alcoholic beverages the night before, or I didn't drink enough the day before, had too much salt, I may wake up achy, stiff, and with a headache. And after a few glasses of water, it's gone. That should be your first go-to before you reach for your pain medications. Okay, so replace the habit. So, building healthy habits, that's what we're all about. And that is our wellness lifestyle. But this is a really good opportunity, though, to talk about replacing some of the easy go-to habits, whether it's choosing the wrong foods or it's medicating an issue, it's leaning on a crutch of sorts, exercise. Maybe it's just an opportunity to get out and get some fresh air, find a more productive habit. If you're finding, especially during COVID, that you're on your screens all the time, maybe this is a good time to put the phone down, and get outside, stretch, play a game, run around the block, watch a movie, find more productive substitutions. And self-care is a beautiful way to do that. Diffuse. right? I have in my diffuser today, just, in honor of this class, 4 drops of deep blue oil and 2 drops of copaiba. And it smells fantastic. My head is clear. It smells better than you think. You may not have considered deep blue as an oil to diffuse, but it is amazing in the diffuser. It's nice with aroma touch. That's our massage blend. And I highly recommend those 2 in Epsom salts. So maybe hop in the bathtub, take a soothing bath. That'll give you the aromatic and the topical properties of these oils. Don't just drop those oils in your hot water, please. In Epsom salt, preferably maybe with a little bit of baking soda, even a carrier oil, just to guarantee you won't have a reaction, because those are hot oils. Yeah, so those are some suggestions. And over time, I think you'll find that not only developing the new habits, but the neural pathways as well to retrain the brain and also retrain the pain response. A lot of our pain can just be reflexes, you know? Okay, so surround yourself with emotional support. That's your friends, your family, your partner, kids, but maybe they're not always supportive. We're not judging. Surround yourself with your wellness community. That's what we're here for. All right, let's move along. That was enough preaching. Okay. Oh, I have the same card here. So I'm so excited to talk about Symphony of the Cells. And that's something that I'm not sure we talked about too much in this series. This is a way to topically and aromatically use your oils in a layering application to address various issues throughout the body. So this is a very simplified and modified example of our inflammatory application. And I'll go through it really quickly with you. Now, in a perfect world, we'd be laying hands on each other, and I have a massage table. Many of my colleagues have massage tables, and we've been to webinars and seminars on this, trainings, also our aroma touch technique. And these are beautiful ways to help the body facilitate its ability to heal itself. Okay, we're not healing you. Your body will heal itself. It got sick on its own, and it can also heal with the assistance of oils and the wellness lifestyle and healthy habits and a good mindset. But during this time where we are fairly isolated one to the next, I encourage you not to shy away from doing these applications on yourself. Whether you just manage to reach back and put them on your low back or on your neck, if you can reach your spine, that's fantastic. Maybe somebody can help you in your house. This is something so simple. There's no real technique involved. Even your kids can do it for you. But if you're all alone, that's okay too. I'm just as happy sometimes putting these oils on my feet. And sniffing them. So I think almost all of the applications, not all, but almost all, start with frankincense and end with peppermint. Frankincense is very calming to your tissues. It helps every system in your body. You would inhale that and apply it. Then you can put a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil on, just to help distribute the oils over a larger surface area and slow down the rate at which they go into your tissues. Please be hydrated for this, because oils are naturally cleansing and detoxifying, so they will produce a reaction in you. You want a reaction, and you want a good one. Okay, and some of these oils would be very hot, and they're designed to generate heat in the body because heat facilitates healing. Okay, then we move on. Quickly, I'm going to run through this. Tea tree, wintergreen is up next. The Aroma Touch Massage Blend, then lemongrass, which is a nice hot oil, stimulating, great for a healthy inflammatory response. Siberian fir has some pain relieving properties. Helichrysum, I like to pronounce it like helichrysum because it's like the most healing oil. And then next up is our deep blue soothing blend. And last, peppermint, which is our driver. Peppermint drives all those oils in deeper. And if you were in a more professional setting, if one of us was doing this for you and we could see that you were having a positive reaction to the application, we might even apply some moist heat. But that's not something I would do the first time around. Okay, so I'll leave that there. This is a really good place to start. Most of us have inflammation, and inflammation is the root of disease. So in starting with that, then you can move through some of the other applications if you'd like to know more. Maybe that's an opportunity for us down the line to maybe have a dedicated class on this topic. But I'm going to leave it at that for now. I can post that list of oils in our chat below the live stream if anybody wants to try that. And not to worry, if you're missing one of these oils, you can even ask. You can say, well, geez, I don't have Siberian fir. Though maybe you should have, since they were in the BOGOs last week. And you may want to acquire that one for yourself, but we can offer you some substitutions. Okay, and that's something it's pretty easy to find as well. You can Google Symphony of the Cells and learn more about that. There are Facebook groups devoted to it, lots of information available. Okay, all right, let's move along to the next slide. Okay, wow, here's a big array of products, but they're simply meant, and we'll go through each set of these one by one to show you ways you can utilize different pain management products on the monthly loyalty program. So let's go to the first slide. We'll quickly move through these. For joint pain, every one of these slides will include lifelong vitality. Okay, for obvious reasons. But I have these here, and let's talk quickly about each one of them. So deep blue polyphenol complex. This is really rooted in Ayurvedic medicine, traditional natural medicine. So botanicals like ginger, curcumin, so turmeric, frankincense, pomegranate seed, grape seed. These all contain antioxidants and polyphenols that are all meant to support a healthy inflammatory response in the body. And along with the essential oils as a tummy tamer. Some people use these just to manage minor headaches, and I think that's pretty exciting. But when taken on a sustained, like a daily basis, they can really help address inflammation in the body. I'm going to leave it just at that for now. Turmeric, let's go deeper. This is going to go a little sciencey on you. You may have heard in the past that turmeric is fantastic, but not really particularly bioavailable. So you need to use a fat and black pepper with it. That's true when you're using turmeric powder, like the readily available type you would cook with or make that golden milk with. So a couple of years ago, we came out with turmeric essential oil. Turmeric essential oil is very rich in turmerones. During the steam distillation process, this is the chemical constituent that is released and is in our essential oil and is fantastic when used internally or even topically to address pain and inflammation. But plants are always best in their whole form. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to have the turmerones without the curcumin. But since that doesn't seem to come out in the distillation process, that's why we have our deep blue polyphenol. So they have the curcumin. But recently, we've come out with the dual chamber capsules, which contains both. And so what they've done to render the turmeric powder more bioavailable, they have dried it and fermented it. And that fermentation process has eliminated the need for the black pepper and the fat. Okay, so what they did was put it back together in the capsule. So we've gone now from something that was about 6% bioavailable in turmeric powder to 94%. And that's groundbreaking. Okay, so this supplement is unrivaled in the health and wellness industry. So something to really think about if pain and inflammation are something that you'd like to address, and you don't need to take everything. You can use either or both of these occasionally, but if you have a chronic issue, I do think that doing something for at least 30 days to see what effect it has will help you figure out what you need long-term and going forward. And then, okay, so I can't believe it's taken till now to talk about Deep Blue Rub. This is like one of our most popular products, Deep Blue Rub. This is a topical lotion, lovely because it is its own carrier. It's something that's safe to use topically. It smells yummy. It's a little bit like a BioFreeze or an A535, except that it's more effective, smells better, and is all natural and can be layered. So we talked about the layering effect of oils with the Symphony of the Cells application. You could absolutely layer oils under, with, over your deep blue rub for a dual, triple action. But I would always go with a less is more approach. I'd use just a little bit, not after a super hot shower when your pores are wide open, or you will, well, we've all done it. You'll know what that feels like. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, next slide is interesting. It mentions marjoram. I think it's really just to let you know that there's so many options out there. Like a lot of the spice and tree oils really have in them some pain relieving properties. So whether you prefer marjoram or rosemary, thyme or oregano, any or all of these do have in them some pain relieving properties, and it's nice that you can take that oil internally in a veggie capsule. So some other options, you may benefit from the combination of the turmeric dual chamber with copaiba. I love copaiba. It is not only calming for muscles, but nerves, your whole overall system. It's working along your CB2 receptors and addressing things on a different level. So, if you've considered or if you're using any CBD products, this is a THC-free alternative. It's highly effective and can be used right alongside your CBD. Okay, so we know about the other two products. We'll go to the next slide. We've talked quite a bit about the adaptive system and emotions as they pertain to pain and are deeply intertwined. I'm not going to go into any of these products in great detail, but it's just an opportunity to highlight that sometimes addressing emotional issues along with your gut issues, which we'll also talk about, can really take down your pain significantly. Okay, and it's interesting that they mention elevation in there. That might not have been my choice, but okay, so digestive pain. We've talked about this one as well. Digestive enzymes, you'd be surprised actually in terms of pain management, how helpful they can be in conjunction with whatever you choose, especially if you find that you have a little bit of trouble breaking down some of the supplements that you take. You definitely need the digestive enzymes. Okay, probiotics, ditto. What else is in there? Ooh, peppermint soft gels, Zengest, which has just been reformulated. So excited to smell the new and improved version. And then the Kids Tamer, which is milder, great topical option. I like to use Digestin or Zengest together with Tamer. It's like the 1-2 punch for topical, and then use my Zengest or Digestin products internally. And never discount digestive pain in terms of emotional health, physical pain, overall wellness. Okay, rolling right along. Okay, head tension, migraines, and lifelong vitality. Okay, so everybody's migraines come from a different source. I think it's very important that you acknowledge what your triggers are and then move accordingly. But many people have experienced a lot of relief with the past tense, which coming out of our US market is being repackaged into a 15 milliliter bottle with a child-proof cap just because of the wintergreen in it. It's got some fairly ferocious oils in it, and with good reason, because it will burn through tension. So in the 15 ml size, you can make your own rollers. So if you have a roller, hang on to it, you can refill, which is handy. Here's eucalyptus, frankincense, and copaiba. Again, just some different options. I think it's just meant to open your mind to the possibilities that if one thing doesn't work for you, something else will, to never give up on yourself. Okay, and then there isn't a slide for this. This is a slightly older presentation, but I think we ought to make mention of our wellness programs, which debuted very recently in the US and Canadian markets. And they're a little bit different one to the next. I'm not going to highlight the Canadian one in great detail, just because the 90-day loyalty program package has 1 month targeted toward immune support, 1 month targeted toward pain and inflammation and overall relief, and then the third month is mood and mind. And in the US, we can do 90-day targeted approaches. So you would have, there's a 90-day option for immune support, a 90-day for relief, and a 90-day for mood and mind. And I really love the idea of the relief kit, especially for newer people, because we've thrown a lot of information at you. And it's a great way to get started. So you would have your lifelong vitality. You could add this program. It's customizable. You can have add-ons, but the very basic starts you off with some Deep Blue rub samples, the Deep Blue polyphenol complex. What else is in there? I think there's an aroma touch, massage blend oil, and a Deep Blue oil, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the basic kit. Oh, and a really groovy ball for massaging your aches and pains away. And then the next month follows with products that build upon that. I think the next month has turmeric and copaiba in it, a tube of Deep Blue, and this really awesome little purse-sized refillable Deep Blue roller squeeze bottle, which is amazing. And then the third month builds on that again and helps get you comfortable with the idea of mixing, matching, and creating your own blend as you develop your confidence, your feelings of empowerment, and your knowledge of what works for you and how unique you are as an individual. So that was a lot of info. I'm going to, I think, wind it down there and ask for questions, because I think there could be many, and I could talk for a long time. Thank you.
So ladies who are on with us, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat. I just checked over on Facebook. There aren't any questions yet, but like every week, if you're watching the replay and you have questions, just type them in and Joanna will go in throughout the week and see what's what, and she'll reply to your questions there.
Okay. While we're talking, I meant to mention about head tension, headaches, and we've mentioned this in other classes as well, but the roof of the mouth is a reflex point that even if you just took your thumbs and pressed them to the roof of your mouth, you can sometimes ease a little bit of tension in your head. Now add to that oils like peppermint or frankincense, lavender, whatever you've found is helpful to you. That can really thwart the beginnings of a headache. At least that's worked well for me in the past.
That's
I have
awesome.
almost 12 topics here as well that we could go through if there aren't questions. But are there any in the group?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to talk about my personal pain protocol that I learned from a chiropractor who himself had very complex issues from a motor vehicle accident. And he had his wife apply oils to him. I think initially it was twice a day. And then they were doing it daily, and then they dropped to 3 times a week. And he said now he only needs to do it like a periodic tune-up, like a tune-up of your car. And I've kind of found the same thing. I used to do this similar application. It's not a Symphony of the Cells application, but it was on his advice. And it's not dissimilar. And mine, I would either apply to my feet, or I've occasionally had my husband apply it along my spine and to my back. And it's pretty profound. I've shared it with a few people, and they've done their own modifications based on their needs. And some of those oils include, starting with balance. So it's like the best of all worlds of aroma touch and also symphony. It starts with balance, lavender, tea tree, which is also known as melaleuca, frankincense. I can't remember which order. Aroma touch, deep blue, cypress. It's a great oil for circulation, so that'll really get things flowing. Siberian fir, marjoram, which you saw on the slide, and it finishes off. This was my addition with copaiba, but I've since added a few more. I've now thrown in peppermint as the driver, and occasionally, depending on what's going on, we'll add lemongrass to that, and even wintergreen. So much the same. You decide based on what you have and what your needs are, but just rest assured that you have tools in your toolkit, and that you have support in us. All right.
Awesome. I don't see any questions. Oh, Cindy just asked 1 drop of each, Joanna.
Okay, so when I'm doing this on myself and I'm applying it to my very dry feet, I typically find I'm going to need more because it has to, it doesn't have to coat the soles, but I like to kind of turn it into a foot massage of sorts. So I'm working it into the soles of my feet. I'll use a drop or 2 per foot. You could easily, though, if you're going to put some big fluffy socks on, you could have some fractionated coconut oil. If you are new to oils, I would only use 1 drop of each, especially since I just took you through possibly 10 to 13 oils. That would be 10 to 13 drops. And your feet are a great spot, right? Those have all those nerve endings and they're super highways, through to your central nervous system and throughout the body. And it's really tough skin, less sensitive. So you can handle 10 to 13 drops usually, but hydration and the fractionated coconut oil, not a bad idea. Just to make sure you're not sensitive and to slow things down a little bit. That would be my suggestion. But I'm at a point where I could probably use 2 to 4 drops easily of each oil. And that would be perfectly fine, especially since it's feet. Feet are neat.
On that note, though, do you think you would need that many drops?
Not necessarily. I know that in the symphony of the cells, the way it's put to us is that you can use many drops if that person is very comfortable with that quantity of oil. But with somebody new, or if you had somebody very unwell, somebody very young or very elderly, that it would be smart to start with just 1 or 2 drops and use more carrier oil. And that would be plenty. I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Absolutely.
Always.
Are you layering the oils on your feet? Or
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I've made a roller. I don't personally find it nearly as effective, even though I know many people have taken all those oils, dumped them in, and at least they have something that can get them through the day if they're struggling. But it's not my preference. I feel it much more profoundly. Plus, the layering, if you take a minute or so between oils, gives one a chance to do its job. So if it's meant to just relax, then you can do the cleansing, and then you're doing the circulatory oil and the pain relieving, and they really, one facilitates the next for an overall benefit that I think is far more profound than just the sum of its parts.
I think too, just even the idea of the physical touch, I think that part probably has some benefit too.
Absolutely. And if we remember how quickly oils work, more quickly than medications most of the time, that within 20 seconds they're in the tissues, and within about 20 minutes they're in every cell of your body. If you took 20 minutes to leisurely wend your way through that laundry list of oils, which I've done on occasion, by let's say the 15-minute mark, when it's all said and done, you will be so relaxed. You will already be experiencing the benefits and the relieving effects of the oils.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I think on that note, we will probably end it here because I don't see any other questions. Let me just double check. Nope. Thank you so much, Joanna. That was very informational. I'm so tired today. I can't think. It was very good. The information was very broad. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I know. Yeah. It is broad. I read an article that listed 34 different unusual reasons you might be experiencing pain. And I was blown away by how complex it is. Before you write something off as it's all in your head.
For sure.
I think doctors, you should be working with your doctor to keep searching. If you truly feel something's not right, you're probably right.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to hop into the For the Love of Oils group and put them in the chat there or in the comments below this video. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. And this ends this 8-week series of continuing education. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again, I'm sure, at some point. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.